Hey everyone, Pupsker here, and today in Warframe, I want to talk about Duviri Paradox in relation to it being the death of Warframe as we know it. I don't know if you've noticed, but over the past 4 or so years, Warframe has tried to make us play our Warframes less and less and less. And I think Duviri Paradox is kind of that final nail in the coffin that shows that, hey, Warframe wants to do separate, non-Warframe style gameplay. They are kind of tired of Warframes themselves, because maybe they don't know how to expand on them more. So all of the systems we've been seeing have been non-Warframe related, right? With Railjack, it's more Warframe related because, you jump out into Arcwing and you still play as your Warframe kinda, but it's more detached than most other game modes, right? Because for the most part, if you want, you can just sit in your ship, kill all the enemies, and then you just fly out to do objectives. So hey, that's trying to clearly divorce away from Warframe. They've had added Necromechs to have even less Warframe gameplay. Arcwings have always been in the game, but they haven't been as great as they always could have been. But then they added the heavy weapons, so people are, using Warframes less, but also more because of that. So that one's a little bit good, a little bit bad. But then you have Operator, now Drifter gameplay and changes, and seemingly Duviri Paradox, right? That's what we want to talk about. Is Duviri Paradox the death of Warframe as we know it? It's kind of weird, because now Warframe is doing this thing where they're having story mode, main Duviri mode, casual Duviri mode, and then there's just Warframe only Duviri mode. So they're clearly branching Warframe into a really weird type of MMO game now, where there's Operator stuff, there's Warframe stuff, there's Warframe only stuff, there's story exclusive side stuff, and then there's easy mode. It's all just, it's getting a little weird and a little wonky. But at this point, I kind of get why they want to do it. I think they're preparing for full crossplay and cross-save, and they want to make it so that the game can be as easy as possible for some and as hard as possible for others, and then just straight Warframe gameplay if you don't feel like playing Operator. So it seems to be a good thing, depending on how you look at the situation. I'm looking at it hey, Digital Extremes wants to give people multiple ways to play a game because they've kind of goobered up the game. This is the bad part, right? They kind of goobered up the game so much that it's been changed around a ton in the past years. So they're okay, we want to try to appeal to all types of players, right? The ones that like playing the main Warframe systems the most, the ones that like playing the side auxiliary Warframe systems more, and then the ones that just want to a chiller, easier experience. I can't remember what the full 3 depths of the Warframe Duviri Paradox experiences will be, but I'm pretty sure it's just easy mode, normal mode, and then Warframe mode, essentially. But hey, so it looks like they kind of want to expand Warframe. Duviri Paradox is definitely the death of modern Warframe as we've known it. Warframe has had open worlds for the past, I think, 5 or so years, maybe 6, depending on how you look at the timeline, 6 to 4 years. They've had open worlds, Plains of Eidolon, Fortuna, for a long time, and I would say those definitely expanded Warframe gameplay more than most things, right? Because those focused on Warframe gameplay for the most part. You go around, open the worlds, kill everything with your Warframe. Eventually we got Arcwing that we could fly around and make it easier, but most people don't go around killing things on the Arcwing, right? So most of the open worlds, Zariman included, of course, is just base, hey, that's Warframe stuff, baby. You want to use more operators now, so maybe that takes away from Warframe for some people, but I think the operator gameplay, mixed in with regular gameplay is fine. Not a huge disliker of it or anything, but it's definitely when Railjack came out, it was obvious Warframe wanted to do a lot of side auxiliary systems. They had really big ambitions, really big dreams and hopes for what it could be. If you remember, I think Steve and whatnot talking about what space combat, what Railjack could be, they were so hyped and it was so grandiose, and then when it came out, it was just a lot not what they said. So they have the idea of always overhyping and overpromising and always wanting to overdo things, but they can't quite deliver on that. And that has made people, not happy. People have been sad for a lot of updates. Warframe's been losing players since 2019 or so, about 4 or 5 years, ever since, I think Fortuna Open World came out. I think Cetus Open World was really hype, but then Fortuna Open World came out, and then things just stopped. So that's why, at this point, I want to know, like, is modern Warframe, are Warframes themselves less important and more obsolete than ever before? Because Warframe's seemingly trying to get us to play our Warframes less and less and less. They're slowing down the gameplay more and more and more, adding auxiliary systems that we almost have to start from fresh more and more and more, and it seems like they just don't know how to continue developments of Warframes other than just like, hey, we'll give new Warframes and we'll give Prime Warframes and occasional boosts like better, stronger mods, right? But it seems like the Warframe experience has calmed down a lot because they're just like not 100% sure what they can do with it, because Warframes are so ridiculously strong and overpowered and have been for many, many years that I just don't think they know how to develop hard content for that anymore. So that's why we've seen like the new war, the last quest, the last big quest was not really much of a Warframe gameplay quest. It was more of a Warframe auxiliary side systems quest. So seemingly that's going to be the future of Warframe. It's going to be more operator drifter stuff, less based Warframe things, with maybe a handful of sweet Warframe updates coming out. But yeah, all the major big Warframe updates in the past handful of years have just been steering away from playing your Warframe. They want you to play in your railjack, play on a ship, play as a ship, play as your operator, play as a drifter, right? Throw yourself on your K drive more. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think Warframe's just doing whatever they feel like doing with cool stuff, and they don't know how to take on more Warframe things without it just always being too easy, right? Even Steel Path was a while ago, and even they said like, no, we don't want this to be endgame, or like we don't want this to be the future of Warframe, but still Steel Path is like a massive thing for a ton of people. So yeah, it's just one of those things that's kind of like, what's going on here, right? Is Warframe anymore? Is it now like Drifter Frame? Duviri Frame? I don't know. I just think it's kind of funny that the main thing the game is named after, right? Like Warframes themselves are becoming less and less wanted, important, or main in the story and game, as they just don't matter anymore because they're so strong. So hey, I just wanted to have a little chat about that. And I think like modern Warframe's been dead for a little bit, and it's been like slowly calmed down, where most people care about modern Warframe the most, but they keep releasing a lot of side content that seems to be more reliant on not playing your Warframe. So the game's just in such a weird state right now. I feel like I've done most things that I need to do, so I'm just chilling playing other games off and on stream, right? And making videos occasionally. I feel like a lot of people are there where they're like, okay, I'm caught up in the game. I've done all the story stuff. I'm as far as I need to be. So I'm just waiting for updates, right? I could farm more weapons, I could farm more arcanes, I could get numbers a little higher, but like Warframe's not a hard game once you collect a certain amount of stuff and know how the game works. So I myself and many others just don't really find that necessary, which is probably the forever struggle of any like MMO content creator for games and whatnot, right? It's just the game is only so big. So more guides and less Warframe streams, the usual, right? And then more Warframe streams when Duviri comes out. Duviri does look to be still pretty fun and exciting. I myself am excited about it, even if it's less Warframe gameplay. I don't necessarily hate or dislike the operator drifter combat stuff, so as long as it is replayable and there's stuff to do, I'll probably be happy, because I feel like that's what Warframe updates have been lacking the most, is just they haven't been replayable enough, and they contain a lot of random things to farm that's like, I just do not give a shit about, right? Like, I don't care to max out every single arcane so that I could have a better, stronger build that I can destroy things even harder than I am already, right? It's like, I could do it, I could grind for the sake of grind, but I feel like I've played a lot in Warframe, and I just don't want to do that right now. Don't want to grind 20 hours, or like, sorry, 20 minutes for one arcane drop, and then get the wrong drop. I just don't want to do that right now. I'll grind for a Warframe for like 5 hours and get the wrong drops. Thank you very much. But yeah, it's always weird and kind of odd when a game goes from like, hey, this is our main game system, and then they only expand mainly on side systems for the next like 3 years. So it's just a little concerning. It's good that Warframe still added Angels of Zariman and like some Warframe main type stuff, but I think the game's at the point where it's just so developed that the more content we're gonna get, I should say, is just gonna be more easy stuff and then side stuff, because nothing with Warframes is ever that hard, and things without Warframes can be tuned and scaled a lot better. So that's why those seem to be harder and, you know, more of a challenge. So modern Warframe, is it dead? I think so. I think modern Warframe as we know it has been dead and murdered for a couple of years. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing. It just is. It's probably bad for people who want more base, actual, just Warframe content and less side Warframe, non-Warframe gameplay content, right? So it's not good. It's not bad. It just is. Good or bad, depending, right? So let me know what you think. Sad times as always, but if you want to support the channel, check it out. Check any of the socials down below. Sub, like. I do have an Epic Games Store creator code Pupsker, where if you buy anything on the Epic Games Store, you can use it and it helps me out. So thank you. I'm not a massive Fortnite or Genshin player, but I mean, I have fully completed Genshin Story, and I have played a good hundreds or so of hours of Fortnite. So, you know, I guess I have spent a good chunk on Epic. Either way, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Cheers.